Welcome everyone to Don White's Thursday night live stream. To all of you watching on Facebook, or even if you're joining us on another platform, consider sharing on Facebook. This is the best way to grow our little Thursday night community. And as always, this is a free concert, but if you would like to donate to show appreciation, there are links in the chat to do so. And lastly, it is not too late to pre-order a signed, numbered first edition copy of Don's new book before October 30th. You can find that link in the chat as well. We will get started shortly.
Hey, look at you all. Hi. Tara, hi, nice to see you. Let me look and see who's here. Kentucky is here. Hi, Kentucky. How are you? Look at you. And Chris Levantia, nice shirt, I gotta say. Nicely done. Must shop at the same place, you and I. And Tommy and Marlene. Tommy, did you get rid of Tommy finally? It's about time, I guess, Marlene. All right. Do you want to unmute to talk to me just for a second, Marlene?
Yeah, I said he's still hanging around. So
You can't get rid of him, hard as you try. Good. Well, he's paper trained now. It takes so long to
I'm kind of
train.
used to him.
You're getting used to him
I
now.
said I've had him for almost 46 years, so I'm used to kind of getting used to him. So,
46. Congratulations. When's your anniversary, Marlene?
this coming Monday, so
Will that be
we're going to trick or
46?
treat the night
That'll be
before. Yeah, so
that'll be 46. Congratulations. Wow. Maybe you know what? If you want to
congratulations.
hear anything, put it in the chat. We'll celebrate your anniversary. All right. So let me just play some things and we'll get started. Thanks for being here. I got a job washing dishes when I was 16. It was the scariest time of my life for me. Had a future that used to just torture me with questions like, who are you going to be? Will your life have meaning? Will your mind be strong? Will you be a man people can depend on? Will you always be frightened? Will you ever be brave? Will you still be washing dishes when you're old and gray? Big Trouble used to love to sneak up on me. He'd say, boo, and I'd jump 5 feet. He would threaten bigger weather, bigger wind, and bigger rain. That's all it would take to blow me away. Yeah. Blow me away. 20 years later, my doorbell rings. It's old man Trouble asking for me. My woman is crying and my kids are too, 'cause they know what old man Trouble can do. I should be shaking, I should be scared, but looking at him just makes me mad. Hey mama, come over, come look, come see what 20 long years have done for me. Your frightened little twig turned out to be the oak in the middle of his family. And Big Trouble just walked through my front door. Mama, I'm just not scared anymore. I'm not scared anymore. I'm not scared anymore. I'm not scared anymore. I'm not scared anymore. Big Trouble just walked through my front door. Well, Mom, I'm just not scared anymore. When trouble comes here, all trouble can seize. My limbs are strong and my roots are deep. I am planted in the middle of this family. Keep my weeping willows close to me. Say, wrap your branches around me now. Just trust me, hold on strong. But when the big storm comes, the wind and the rain, this oak will not be blown away anymore. I'm not scared anymore. I'm not scared anymore. I'm not scared anymore. Big Trouble just walked through my front door. But Mom, I'm just not scared anymore. I'm not scared anymore. I'm not scared anymore. I'm not scared anymore. I'm not scared anymore. Big Trouble just walked through my front door. Mama, I'm just not scared anymore. There you go.
Woo!
Yay!
There you go. Unmute, applaud, so I don't feel alone and crazy. Alright, I'm gonna play a couple, then I'm gonna let you know about what's going on in my world. My world, it's hard to keep up with it all. So much happening here. But here, let's do this one. I'm letting I just washed my hair, so I'm letting it down. So not trying to scare you here. From a tax shelter offshore, some kid said my job had been eliminated. He said, thank you for your service and for working so hard. Blah, blah, lie, lie, half truth, blah, blah. He expected me to be petrified, get in the fetal position, start to cry. But I just kept thinking that he was underestimating me. Cause my team is on a winning streak. We haven't lost a game all week. Underestimated people are hard to beat. My team is on a winning streak. Every 2 years some brand new guy calls a big meeting to tell us why things will get a lot better now that he's in charge. Blah blah, lie lie, half truth, blah blah. Then all the working people try not to grin while they're hearing these promises again. Nothing gets better, 2 years go by and then we're sitting at a meeting with a brand new guy. My team is on a winning streak. We haven't lost a game all week. Underestimated people are hard to beat. My team is on a winning streak. I said, what you did to me, that wasn't right. I hired a lawyer, I planned to fight. He said, you are so adorable. He patted my head and closed the door. From a tax shelter, some kid said my job had been eliminated. But I just kept thinking that he was underestimating me. Cause my team is on a winning streak. We haven't lost a game all week. Underestimated people are hard to beat. My team is on a winning streak. There you go.
Woo! Yay!
Thank you. Alright, so let me tell you about Lynn Woods, okay? So let's see, is anybody here close enough to know about Lynn Woods? Probably not. So in the 1850s, here in this thriving metropolis that I live in, which is a very urban place, it's extremely urban where I live. It's near Boston. It's it's a industrial wasteland on some levels. People packed in, a lot of industry, whatever. And so in the 1850s, a bunch of forward-thinking environmentalists in the local area, they bought up a whole mess of land, and they just kept buying land and preserved it for the city, and they didn't know what to do with it, so they brought in Olmsted, who designed Central Park, and he took a look at it and he said, well, just leave it a forest, like an urban forest. So this beat up factory town with in the top 10 for crime rates in the state and all that. We have all that stuff going here. We have this jewel of, I believe if you count the watershed land, it's somewhere between 1,700 and 2,200 acres of forest here. And every politician who's ever had a job in the history of this place has tried to sell it. Every single one of them. There hasn't been one who's not tried to sell it. They just it used to be bigger, but in the 30s they put a golf course on it. They added 9 holes there before anybody was looking, right? And one hunk of it is up against Route 1. Route 1, that property there is worth, I don't know, millions of dollars an acre because it's on on Route One, which is a Route One in my part of the world here is all businesses. You know, it's one of those stretches of road where there's just restaurants and businesses and all that. And so every time we get a new mayor, they get a visit from somebody from that town, Linfield, it's over there in Linfield, and they tell them, hey, this really isn't Lynn Woods, and if you sold it to us, we could help your problems, right? So we, the Friends of Lynn Woods and myself, have been fighting this fight forever, forever. I created the biggest cleanup of Lynn Woods in 1973 that has ever been. I was 16 years old. I used to have a photograph of it. I showed it before. I don't have it anymore. I don't know what I did with it. But we had 3 dump trucks. At that point, they were trying to destroy Lynn Wood. They were trying to develop it because they were saying it was just too wild up there. There were people were dumping cars, lighting things on fire, shooting guns off. It was like the Wild West up there because they were deliberately not taking care of it, so they could sell it. And so we did this cleanup, 3 dump trucks, 3 Boy Scout troops. I believe we only lost 1 Boy Scout troop. That's not bad for two of the troops made it home. And anyway, this is all to say that I have been fighting to preserve this hunk of woods since I was 15 years old, which was a long time ago. And the Tuesday, they had a council meeting. This is after 8 years of work, deed searches and all that. And they unanimously, on 3 occasions, to eminent domain, all that stuff, voted to put a conservation restriction on these woods. This is a 45-year fight for me, and it's almost the last hurdle. Like the city council was there's one other little hurdle, and everybody is thinking that this is actually going to happen. And for you, Kara, and everybody here who's fighting the fight, or anybody, it's important to realize how long it takes to do this stuff. Do you know the suffragettes who started the suffrage movement, probably never got to vote. I'm not sure if I'm right about that, but I think it took 70 years, right? Does anybody know the answer to that? Give me an answer. Just talk to me. Come on, unmute. Let's have a conversation here. Anybody know the answer to that? That the original suffragettes, did they ever get to vote, or did they die before women could vote?
Many did die before they did. My
Well,
grandmother.
a lot of
Those are the original suffragettes, right?
A lot of it
Right.
depended on where you were. As an example, back in the 1870s, women could vote in Wyoming.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
And I believe in Montana, at least around 1910, women could vote in the territory, just not in federal elections.
I see. Right.
But still, a lot of them died before they won the right to vote.
Right. So when there's a good chance that this vote would have failed, and I would have been dead before this happened. It's still not 100%, but it's like 99% now. And everybody, in order to kibosh this, you are taking a gigantic political risk now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's got high visibility, and the DCR is involved, and this group called Essex County Greenbelt. They've spent thousands and thousands of dollars to do this, and when it's done, the entirety of our watershed, all 3 reservoirs are within these woods, so a lot of this land protects water that we drink here, and all of that is all going to be protected legally forever. And so my friend Mark McInerney said, if everything that was proposed in his lifetime to be done in Lynn Woods happened, which they were going to put a school up there, they're going to extend the golf course, every problem that they have, they just want to sell off this land, right? He said if every single thing that was proposed actually happened, Lynn Woods would be 1 acre big. Do you know what I mean? And so, oh yeah, that's good. So anyway, I'm happy about this. I'll let you know when it actually is documented. But I think it's important to just acknowledge that the fight is long, and sometimes it's multi-generational. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes it could have been my kids fighting this thing in the next 20 years as well. And the other side is patient. Do you know what I mean? They'll outlive you. They'll outlive you if they can. All
Well,
right, so
especially when there's money on the other side of the equation.
when
That's what makes it. That's what makes it really hard, is when you're fighting not just emotion and everything, you're fighting money. And so people look at that as being something they can make a lot of money at. They're not going to be detoured. And as soon as you detour them, there's another group ready to fill that breach and ram it right up, take that little
Yeah.
bullet of money and throw it up there and shoot it again.
that's really true. And you can see it. All of the people that I started with 40 something years ago are still fighting this fight. And when we get together, we're just like, we want this over so that we can stop worrying about it. It's been, most of our lives that it's been doing it. But I think we're pretty close. And Essex County Greenbelt is amazing. I just texted the ranger. I go, how do you feel? And he goes, this is going to happen. And he's a very cautious man. And so grassroots movement happening. So just think about this. Tomorrow, my daughter is signing on the house that we're moving to. Lynn Woods, after 45 years, is going to be protected, and I'm probably going to get my books next week.
Wow. Get the trifecta. A big week.
We have years when nothing happens, and then 10 years worth of stuff happens in one day, right? So I'm feeling pretty good about all that stuff. Moira, are you
There's
there?
chapter 1 in the next book, Don.
Chapter 1.
Hey, it all came together.
That's right. So Moira, do you want to talk? Can you talk to me? Are you there, Moira?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, so Moira asked me to play this song last week. I not only did I not remember how to play it, I hadn't played it, I think, in 20 years now, but I couldn't even remember how it went, honestly. But I found it. I had to dig around here for a copy of it, and I don't have a CD player in my house, so I sat in the car. Like the old drunk uncle. I'm sick of you people. I'm gonna sit in my car, my own Chevy. They have drinking out of a paper bag that I had in the glove compartment. And I learned how to play it. And I'll talk about it after. This is a song I wrote before I made my first CD. Before I made my first CD, I probably wrote this song a couple of months after I quit drinking. Right after we bought our house. My wife was waitressing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot going on, and as I was listening to it, I was remembering it all. So here we go. This is called Blue Uniform. First time in 20 years, three chords, however you like them. She came home from the restaurant just after midnight with $28 and that look in her eye that said, I'll be in this damn blue waitress uniform till the mortgage is paid and these kids are both grown. I said, I've got 2 gigs next week, but neither one pays. I may cover expenses if I sell a few tapes. If I could make it in music, you could quit waitressing. But at the moment, that sure don't look too promising. She said, we both know it is true. All the odds are against you. I may have to stay used to being weary and worn. Give it your best shot. You're the only chance I've got to get myself out of this blue uniform. And it was bed. Then I stared at the ceiling, thinking of what she said. And that blue uniform hung on our bedroom door. It's been there 15 years, it might be there 15 more. And I was thinking about time gone and all of those years that I wasted in bar rooms with cheap talk and beer. If I had spent half that time trying to publish these songs, she might not still be in that blue uniform. We both know it is true. All the odds are against you. I may have to stay used to being weary and worn. Give it your best shot. You're the only chance I've got to get myself out of this blue uniform. And then she told me that she knows we are doing okay, and it's because she is exhausted that she's feeling this way. And if it weren't for the money that she's made in tips, we could never have purchased this home for our kids. But as I watch her go off to her job every day, all I see is potential slipping away. And you can keep telling me it's 1,000,000 to 1. I don't care, I don't care, I am not giving up. We both know it is true. All the odds are against you. We may have to stay used to being weary and worn. Give it your best shot. You're the only chance I've got to get myself out of this blue uniform.
Oh, thank you so much.
Great request, Moira.
You know, there's that photo right there. See that?
Mhm.
No, that.
That's a
Yep.
That's the cover of a CD. It's hard to find because it's the original color photograph, and so that's her waitress uniform. At that point, it wasn't blue anymore; it was black, and that's me in my alarm guy outfit. We had just bought that house, and there was no. If you went inside, there was no furniture. We were sitting on like bean bags and mattresses and stuff. I was making $8 an hour maybe, and she was coming home with $30 from waitressing. Like the mathematics of our existence there was no way that it could work out. All right, thanks. So I just want to say a couple of things about that. I don't know. It's just interesting to me. Like for 20 years now or more, I would say to people that I don't care if I have another fan. I don't need another fan in this business. I just want to make some money and play and all that. But that is the luxury of a person who has fans. Do you know what I mean to say that? Like it's like I had forgotten how hungry I was. But like listening to that song reminded me like if I didn't make it, I wasn't gonna make enough money being a helper on an alarm crew. It was going to take forever there, so I really had to make this work. And the fact that it wasn't happening was cramping her. Like her potential was thwarted because she could have done better things, but she had to go sling hash someplace. I had just quit drinking. I was feeling all those feelings about how I let everybody down because of what I was doing before all of that. And one of the things I thought about today while I was sitting like the drunk uncle out in the car to listen to this thing was that the music business is tough. You have to be out of your mind to be in it, because the first whole part of it is just no success. Like like no money, no nothing. There's a million people doing it. They're all better than you. Whatever. It's like it's a really difficult thing to persevere underneath. And there's a lot of disrespect that you get just by virtue of the competition. But coming up in Lynn, Massachusetts, in an alcoholic family with a bunch of, with violence all around me, I felt like that the disrespect that the music business was giving me was kid stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like I felt like I had already had, like I was already equipped to deal with a much more difficult resistance to what I was doing. And now we have sold that house. Everything that I was hoping for, and when I wrote that song, has come true. I make a living doing this. I have for quite some time. The house was paid for. The kids are going to be okay because of it. And so, thanks for asking for that, Moira. I appreciate you so much. Really good. All right, so let me play another song or two, and then I'm gonna do the story that Kevin asked me to do, because he's awfully good to me. He comes every week and he's asked me to tell a story, so I'll do that. Maybe I'll read something from my book. Let's see. Here, Kara and Richard Cambridge is here. I'm not sure if you ever heard this song before, Richard Cambridge, but I'll play it for you because it mentions Ram Dass. As far as I know, you probably met him. Jenny's grandma went to Woodstock back in 1969. She keeps her ticket stub and a chunk of mud at her house in a little shrine. She was always the girl in the hippie dress twirling at the shows by the Grateful Dead. If you ask her about it, man, you better sit down. Grandma will talk the ears right off your head. If you get her talk about the Grateful Dead, Summer of Love, or the Kool-Aid acid test. Jenny was always in a glory when she could hear the stories from her grandma's hippie friends about peace and love, taking care of one another, how great it all was back then. And at night she would dream of being on the bus with Kesey, seeing Jimmy in 69. But when she wasn't dreaming, she always had the feeling that somehow she'd been born in the wrong time. You should have been 20 in 1969. Oh, the gray-haired hippies say that all the time. But the cool grandchildren of the cool young women who danced in the Woodstock mud are living on the beach in Montezuma, Costa Rica, having all kinds of fun singing. There's only 1 minute if you're not living in it, it's never coming back again. Love your grandma, but Bob or Ram Dass never said, be there then. It's gonna take a big leap of faith if you really want to find your tribe. Those were the first words Jenny heard in a song that she found online. And that summer she drove all the way to Minnesota to the Shangri-La Festival. And there they all were, all the people like her, who grew up believing that they were all alone. They said, hey girl, welcome home. Because the cool grandchildren of the cool young women who danced in the Woodstock mud are driving down the road all the way to Minnesota, having all kinds of fun singing. Jimmy and Jerry are dead and buried and they're never coming back again. Love your grandma, but Bob or Ram Dass never said, be there then. Jenny's grandma went to Woodstock in 1969, and since then she believed there was never going to be a better time, and that's alright. But if you don't take your big leap of faith and get out there and find your scene, it will pass you by while you are trying to find your grandma's long gone Woodstock memories. Her Woodstock memories. Because the cool grandchildren of the cool young women who danced in the Woodstock mud are living on the beach in Montezuma, Costa Rica, having all kinds of fun, singing, there's only 1 minute, if you're not living in it, it's never coming back again. Love your grandma, but Bob or Ram Dass never said, never said, never said, never said, never said be there then. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone and everyone. All right. So I'm going to tell this story for my friend Kevin. Kevin lives in Chicago. Him and Liz are out there. They come every week. They're very good to me. And so this is a story about my mom and dad. So when I tell stories, it's better for me if you're unmuted, provided that you're in a quiet place. But we have Brandon sort of monitoring if it gets noisy where you are, if your dog starts barking or whatever like that. But I like to be able to hear people, so if you're in a relatively quiet place, please unmute yourself so that I can hear you respond to my story. Okay? And it's important because I lose focus. Like if I'm just telling a story and I can't hear nothing, all of a sudden I start drifting off and I don't care about it anymore. So everybody, on three, let's all laugh like I just said something hilarious. 1, 2, 3, go ahead. All right, so there we go. An interactive moment here on Zoom, being monitored closely for technical weirdness that happens. So this is a story, one of the problems with the stories with my stories thing, is that they start out like 10 minutes long and then they grow and they grow, and over the course of a year or 2 years, they die under their own weight. Do you know what I mean? This thing, by the time I was done, it was done being part of my show, was over 20 minutes long. So you could go 25 minutes, right? And it would take up the whole second set. It was a good story, but it wasn't that good. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't good enough to be the whole show. And so I'm going to try to do like an abridged version of it. And so this story is about my parents. This will give you an example of, a good idea of who I'm descended from. My parents were both from the brickyard. They both worked in factories. They were punks. They were wise guys. They liked to tease each other. They really did. If you weren't used to it, it would horrify you, the way that we talk to each other, especially them. So let's start with my dad. My dad was a World War II guy. Never did anything he was supposed to do ever. Hadn't eaten a vegetable since the 50s. Hadn't cracked a sweat since World War II. He just smoked cigarettes with no filter on them and drank Seagram 7 down the American Legion Hall. And that was that guy. And so he hadn't been to the doctor in 40 years. And I'm not making this up. So he got pneumonia, and we're like, Dad, you have to go to the doctor. I don't want to go to the doctor. But, he's fighting us the whole way. He finally goes. They figure out he's got pneumonia. They keep him in there for a week. They put him on a vent. And my dad gave the finger to everything that tried to kill him all his life, including pneumonia, right? He just, he just did whatever he wanted. So a couple of weeks after they came out of the hospital, my mother gets a phone call from the doctor. They said, we had your husband in here. And we figured we'd do a couple of x-rays while we had him in here, every 30 years or so. What the hell, right? What could it hurt, right? And they said, we found a small spot on his prostate. It's not a big spot, and we don't feel like it's going to kill him right away. Honestly, we took a survey in the hospital. Nobody can believe that he lived this long anyway. so we want you to come in and discuss your options. So my parents, Larry and Franny White from Lynn, Massachusetts, just the idea of them traipsing down to the hospital to discuss my father's prostate options is hilarious to me. Even though I have had prostate cancer now, and it took some of the fun out of it for me, I have to tell you. All right. So they come back from the hospital and they tell me you got 3 options from the doctor. Option number 1, we can just let it go. Probably something else will kill you the way you live. This thing is not going to kill you faster than your behavior is going to. That was option number 1, just let it go, right? Option number 2, it give you these hormone shots. It's like estrogen, female hormone shots, and the side effects are like male menopause and hot flashes and stuff like that. That's option number 2. You can do that, Mr. White. And option number 3, we don't do this as much as we used to, but we want you to know it's still an option. We remove the testicles, and that keeps it from spreading. So, Mr. White, these are your 3 options. And so my mother, I'm there, and she walks up to him. She tells me the story just like I told you. These are the 3 options that they told us. And then she goes eyeball to eyeball with him, sits down in a chair and stares at him. And she goes, Larry, I have to tell you something. It hasn't been easy living with you all these years. It's been hard, some of it. But I want you to know something. I love you. And whatever you're going through, I want you to know I'm going to be beside you the whole way. You can count on me no matter what happens. If you choose option number 1, number 2, or number 3, you can count on me to support you. It was like a rare, tender moment for the 2 of them. I didn't know what was happening. It was so unlike them, right? And then she says, but if you do choose that 3rd option, and she looks at me, and she looks back at him, and she goes, I really feel like I should be the one who gets to do it!
Wow.
So that is a clear picture of the 2 of them right there, okay? And my father's looking at me, he's going, do you believe this? This is what I've been dealing with for 40 years in there. But he's not, it's playful. The whole thing is playful. It's how they were. I don't know how to explain it. I really seriously don't know how to explain it. But it wasn't, they weren't angry. They were breaking the tension with this kind of humor that would horrify any normal person in the world, right? That's how they were, right? So at this time, my dad was a huge baseball fan, and the Red Sox had a closer who threw knuckleballs. So I really don't want to explain to you what a knuckleball is and what a closer is. But it's the guy that comes in at the end of the game. He's supposed to get the last 3 guys out. Usually it's a guy who can throw it 100 miles an hour. 1, 2, 3, you're out, like that, right? But the Red Sox brought in Tim Wakefield, and he's a good guy and a good pitcher and all that stuff. But he threw knuckleballs, and never in the history of baseball. This is a good story because the World Series going on. And never in the history of baseball has a knuckleball thrower been a closer. And the reason for that is because it's the stupidest idea that ever happened in the history of baseball going back to the 1890s, right? The knuckleball doesn't spin, you throw it like that, so the person throwing it doesn't know where it's going. Let's just start with that, right? And it's kind of like a butterfly. It goes like that, like that. And sometimes the hitters miss them and they look really foolish. But there's a saying in baseball, if the knuckleball is high, let it fly. If it's not dancing well, it must look like a watermelon coming to the plate. And the closer would, and they would hit them so far. They'd be landing in cornfields in Nebraska and Iowa. And, do you know why people out there are always seeing UFOs? It's not UFOs. Those are knuckleballs that have been launched out of Fenway Park 3 weeks earlier. They got up in the jet stream and were landing in Iowa. Okay? So my dad now, he's all full. He decided he wasn't going to let my mother give him option number 3. That was off the table. He didn't want to wait option number 1, so he got the female hormones. They pumped him full of estrogen and female hormones, right? So my big burly dad, his chest was this wide. He was a steel worker. He used to sit in his t-shirt, he wore those t-shirts that nobody in his day ever ever complained about calling a wife beater? Do you know what I'm talking about? Those things, those shirts like that. Be sitting there with a big pusto hanging out and watching the ball game. Big, tough, steel working GE cigarette guy, right? And now he's full of these hormones. And it's the ninth inning, the Red Sox are winning by 1 run, and the camera pans out to the bullpen, and here comes the watermelon throwing knuckleball guy, right? And my mother's in this room, and he's in that room, and he goes, Franny, they're bringing that knuckleballer in. I can't stand it. I'm having hot flashes, Franny. I'm having hot flashes over here, Franny. I can't take it. My mother is in the other room, and she's like, hey, Larry, how you like them hot flashes? You didn't care about me when I had them. I hope they trade every pitcher on the team and bring in 20 knuckleballers. All right, so that's basically the story, right? But I'm going to give you the addendum, because to me the addendum is the most interesting part. So my parents would never come to see me in a real concert because I play in churches and libraries, and you can't smoke or drink there. And they just didn't understand why anybody would go to, like, what are you asking me to do? Go out on a Saturday night and not smoke and drink? I'm like, have you lost your mind? And so, but I got a gig at the Elks in Lynn, in the hometown, in this town, and they came. They came because, unlike Unitarian churches and libraries, at the Elks, drinking and smoking is not demonized. In fact, it's kind of glorified there, actually, when you think about it. So they felt very much at home, and they came to the concert. And I told that story, and that's the first time that they ever heard it. Right? So the next day, I go over to the house. My mother's upstairs and my dad's downstairs, and I don't go, Dad, how you doing? And he's ignoring me, and he's talking, but he's talking. He's not talking to me. He's talking to God, right? He's like, I go, Dad, how you doing? And he's looking at the ceiling. He's like, nothing is sacred anymore. It's going, nothing is sacred anymore, right? So, he walks right past me. He's still just talking to God. He gets to the bottom of the stairs and he hollers upstairs to my mother, Franny, nothing is sacred anymore, not even my joint. That's what he said. And then you hear from the second floor my mother's voice. Since when is there anything sacred about your joint? And then he comes up to me and he puts me in a headlock. And I'm probably 40 at this time, right? And he's this great big guy, and he's crushing me with one arm, right? And my head's like this, and he's like, did you make good money last night? I go, Dad, you're hurting me. He goes, did you make good money last night? I go, no kidding, I'm serious. This hurts. I go, yeah, I made $800. He goes, you made $800 last night? I go, yeah. He goes, anytime you can make that kind of money. He looks around like that. You say any fucking thing you want, and he throws me across the room. Ta-da! There you go. That's my story.
I don't know the addendum, but that's more.
So, I feel like nervous about telling these stories because a lot of you have met me like through church and through storytelling when there's children in the audience, and I just have to reassure you, I know how to behave in your world, okay? I just want to let you know that, right? But if given my my druthers, I would prefer to be this guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, whenever I get a chance to be this thing that I'm being right now, which is, reflecting what I was raised in, I prefer it. It's more freeing. It's more fun. The problem with restrictions, because there's children in the crowd, or there's political correctness, or whatever the thing is that there's not as much fun happening. That's my theory about it. But anyway, I'm gonna play one more song, then we're gonna have our poet for the evening, Richard Cambridge. We have some fantastic guests coming later. I'm just happy. I'm a happy guy right now. My wife is and my daughter they're looking at our new house right now. They went up. There's like the last walkthrough before they.
Thanks for that story, Don.
What's that?
Thanks for the story, man. I got to tell you, that was great. Thank you.
Well, I have to say this to you and to Moira and to everybody who comes all the time. I'll try to do, unless I have a real valid reason not to do it. Anything you want me to do, I may have to go rehearse it, but I'm happy. I appreciate the fact that you come and that you make this work, and that at the end of it I can buy groceries and pay Brandon and all that stuff. It means a lot to me, so I'll do whatever I can for you. Seriously. All right. So let me see who's here. Let me just take a look before we sort of wind this thing down. So if those of you that are watching on other platforms, you're welcome to come over here to the Zoom part. As you can see, I can talk to you and everything. Oh, Marcia's here. Hi, Marcia. Nice to see you. Do you want me to play Great Day for you? Is that
Oh, I would love that.
All right. So, Marcia, I've known forever. So here, this is a song called Great Day for my friend Marcia. I don't need glasses for it. I was on the highway, I was cruising along, I decided to put my seatbelt on. A minute later, baby, what do you believe? A Big Mac truck crashed into me. I told the policeman that it was okay. He said, your seatbelt saved your life today. Ambulance driver, EMT, they all started singing this song to me. They said, it's a great day to not be dead. Shoo-doo-wah, shoo-wah, shoo-wah. To not cave in your windshield with your head. Cave in your windshield with your head. I suggest that those of you on Zoom, put it in gallery view so you can watch Marcia dance. All right, it's a great day to not be dead. Shoo-doo-wah, shoo-wah, shoo-wah. To not cave in your windshield with your head. Cave in your windshield with your head. You're an ugly man, but if that occurred, believe me, you would be even uglier. And it's a great day to not be dead. Shoo-doo-wah, shoo-wah, shoo-wah. Later that evening with my family, we were sitting on the couch, we were watching TV. There was a drive-by shooting on the 6 o'clock news. They fired 15 bullets at one poor dude. He took one on the finger, one on the shin. The other 13 all missed him, so we called him up at the hospital and we sang to him over the telephone. We said, hey, it is a great day to not be dead. Shoo-doo-wah, shoo-wah, shoo-wah. To not have bullets in your head. Oh, what wonderful luck you got. The guy that tried to kill you was a terrible shot, and it's a great day to not be dead. Shoo-doo-wah, shoo-wah, shoo-wah. The next news story on my TV set was that guy whose wife brought a knife to bed. Now, that was a long time ago. This is a story that you have. It's kind of a nursing home story at this point, really, I have to tell you. That guy's name was Mr. Bobbitt. Just nod your head up and down if you remember him. Yeah, that's right. 1 hour later, as the story goes, a part of his anatomy was laying by the road. Well, my sassy wife looked over and she smiled at me. She started singing this song to me. She said, hey, it is a great day to not be dead. Shoo-doo-wah, shoo-wah, shoo-wah. Not have your wife bring a knife with her to bed. Shoo-doo-wah, chop. Chop! Whoa! She said, I yell, I scream, I complain a lot, but at least I haven't cut no body parts off, and it's a great day to not be dead. Shoo-doo-wah, shoo-wah, shoo-wah. Not cutting body parts off is a pretty good quality in a wife, really, when you think about it. If you're on Zoom, or you're on Facebook, or you're on in the witness protection program over there on YouTube, and you're with somebody you've been with any length of time and you're still put together anatomically the same way you were when you first met, I don't think it's inappropriate to say thank you. Let's have a few tender moments here. I thought about my car crash, my close call. I started getting sentimental. I said I love this house, I love you guys. I even love my rusty old car outside. And I'm so happy to be alive with all of you little squares on my screen. Let's do all the things we always said that we would do. Like, let's meet in person with masks on, because it's a great day. It is a great day. It is a great day. It is a great day. It's a great day to not be dead. There you go. Woo. Ta-da! Look at us.
Yay.
Oh, all right. Well, okay. So now at this point here, what's going to happen is I'm going to have my friend Richard Cambridge read some of his fantastic words for us. He's just somebody I've known forever, a really dear friend of mine, and a great writer, a really great writer, and an interesting man who's had an interesting life. And I'm proud to call him my friend and proud to share him with you. So let's spotlight Richard Branton. There he is. So Richard, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on in your world, and then read for us.
All right, Don, it's so great to be here, especially for this holiday. It's my favorite time of year. I've got my special T-shirt on,
Nice.
as you can see,
Nice.
and I'll be putting out poison for the kitties and candy for the rats. So anyway, but yeah, this is just wonderful to hear you and see all you people. I'm gonna read some poems for the season, for the Halloween season. And they all appeared in the lunar calendar, which I sent to Brendan probably at the last minute. And thank you, Brendan. I'm the poetry editor at this calendar, but the problem with being a poetry editor for this calendar is that I don't get the last say as to what poems go in. The artists do. So the poems go to the artists, and the artists decide what vibe they want to pick up and share and make a poem out of, make an artwork out of. And so sometimes mine get chosen, sometimes they don't. So I've posted the poems also on the website. So I'm going to read from this one. It's called The Moon Gets Hungry. You got to watch it when the moon gets down to a crescent. She gets in these moods when she wanes. I saw her sneak up on Orion, steal his belt, hook herself on the buckle and come out swinging. Forget the wheat and the harvest. She was out for blood. Bulls, lions, crabs, rams, fish, scorpions, humans. She was going to make herself a stew. You got to watch it when the moon gets hungry. You better hide until she's full.
Yeah. Nicely done.
And this is almost full. And the first artist was Ray Rue, the one, The Moon Gets Hungry. I mean, he literally pulled out of my head the image that I had in my head when I was writing the poem. It was just one of those freak things where he just read the poem and saw my snapshot. And when I saw that, I nearly fell over. That's a rarity. And this is artwork is from Tom Menahan, Almost Full. If the moon is not full, it's because she's busy gathering coins from all the world's fountains. She wishes just once she could turn her dark cheek, strip you with a glance, blush you with shadow. Knowledge comes in phases, a trick of light. A stick not bent in the water is a wand in the making.
Oh, beautiful, Richard. Lovely.
And I dedicate this to all the rats in Cambridge. You wouldn't believe the pestilence we're having because all the restaurants are closed, so they have no food. So they're coming to all our apartments and houses and streets. There's all over the place. They can't. you can't get rid of them. They cross the street during the day. They say hi to you, as you're passing by. There's just so many rats. I bought 3 pumpkins for my little garden. They're all chewed up to death. I mean, the rats, just like, boom. So this is called Night Vision. I wrote this on the Charles River. I had to send this in before midnight because I was in a poem contest, 30 poems for September. I had to write a poem every day. So I'm writing this like 1:45, watching the rats on the river, and I send it in. Night Vision. Above the Charles, the moon swings, a pendant from Jupiter. She cheshires a smile at the river rats licking the street lights reflected as lollipops. She gnaws their hunger. Their eyes are black holes. Their name spelled backward is star.
Nice.
And I'll finish with this one. This is not in the calendar. This will take a little explaining. Some years ago, I picked up the Globe and I looked at the front page, and there was a picture of what looked like a midget beside a pumpkin. And it made no sense to me because it was all out of perspective. And then I realized it wasn't a midget, it was a giant pumpkin and a regular sized dude. And every year New England has, the biggest pumpkin contest. So many years ago, it would be like the biggest pumpkin would be 500 pounds, right? That would win the contest. And all these farmers would go up to the Topsfield Fair where it happened. Well, Monsanto comes along with special seeds. So they all start buying Monsanto seeds and growing these monster pumpkins that, were close to a ton, 2,000 pounds. And so this one was featured on the front page of the Globe because it won first prize at something like 1,872 pounds. And it featured the owner, only the pumpkin dwarfed the owner. And so my head was all out of perspective. This is The Beast from the East. The first thing I think is, I don't know what to think because the perspective keeps shifting. A trick photograph, my reading glasses. Why does my stomach feel queasy? I haven't needed Dramamine since that cruise on the eve of the millennium when everyone was supposed to go kaflooey because the computers were supposed to crash, which is just a diversionary thought that my shrink told me to watch for when I don't want to deal with what's coming up in this session. Inferiority complex, my faith in God on shaky ground. I'm not a comic or a clever guy, but a joke bursts out of my mouth. He's out of his fucking gourd. It's a picture of a midget sitting beside a pumpkin. No, he's smaller than the pumpkin. It's actually a giant pumpkin, and the dude is a regular dude of regular size, a Mr. Steve Connolly, the pumpkin's proud papa, the biggest pumpkin the world has ever seen, he hopes, a near 2,000-pound Leviathan, the one Charlie Brown was praying for in that old pumpkin patch on Halloween, the great pumpkin. We all got to believe in something. The one that was worth all the abuse from Lucy, who kept taunting him it would never come. Dubbed the Beast from the East by wide-eyed growers, this pumpkin is pumped on something, I think, even though the article says otherwise. Something dreamed up in the lab, a DNA cocktail, genes spliced from an elephant, a Hubbard squash, a dash of orange number 14. Yeah, that's it. The Wizards of Monsanto playing God, which reminds me of the story of Jonah, who got pissed off at God for not blasting Nineveh because the people repented. Forget being in the belly of a whale. That's easy. Who doesn't believe a man could fit into one? But that gourd God caused to grow, sort of a concession prize to give shade to Nona, wouldn't have matched this baby. How many times does God take second place in a contest?
Yeah. Thank you, Richard. That was wonderful. Wonderful. That's Richard Cambridge. Let's everybody unmute and make a lot of applause for him so he feels good.
Thank you, Doug.
So, Richard, if you're around 9 o'clock in the after party, I'd love to hear some more words from you if that works.
I will be around.
All
Yeah.
right. So we're going to take just a little break, just a couple of minutes. If you're able to donate a few bucks, I really appreciate it. We just pay Brandon with the money, and if there's anything left over, tomorrow I go buy groceries with it, and I have good thoughts of you at Market Basket. So that's going to be worth something in this world. I want you all to put on gallery for a minute and take a look at my friend Alan coming in from Kansas there. He looks like he's just came back from Woodstock. There he is right there, Alan. Nice to see you. Peace, man. Peace. All right. I'll be back in a couple of minutes, and I'll play till about 25 past, and then we'll have our after party. Thanks, everybody. was born in the city of Lynn, home of the first turbine engine, and as if that wasn't enough, it is also the home of Marshmallow Fluffy. You can travel the whole country, you'll never find a bigger fluff factory. I'm from Lynn, what can I say? People from Lynn just act this way. I don't talk slick, that's what I said. I'm not from Swampscott or Marblehead. Don't be staring at me that way. I am from Lynn, what can I say? I used to hang around in Barry Park. That's illegal after it gets dark. Stand on the bleachers where things got smoked and beer got chugged, the lug bottles got broke. Later in the evening when the police come, 27 juveniles are on the run. Juveniles are running everywhere you see, jumping over fences, climbing in trees. But dawn is too loaded to get away. His name is in the paper on the next day. His mother and his father just can't believe he would publicly humiliate the family. I say I'm from Lynn, what can I say? People from Lynn act this way. Don't talk slick, that's what I said. I'm not from Swampscott or Marblehead. Don't be staring at me that way. I am from Lynn, what can I say? On the corner of every street, somebody's cooking something greasy to eat. Deep fat is frying everywhere you look. This town is bound for the record books. Million sub shops open all night long. A socio-intestinal phenomenon. I'm from Lynn, what can I say? People from Lynn act this way. Don't talk slick, that's what I said. Not from Swampscott or Marblehead. Don't be staring at me that way. I'm from Lynn, what can I say? I left Lynn 10 years ago. I didn't know where I was gonna go. 10 of my friends were leaning up against a bar and grill. 10 years later, they're leaning there still. Half of my friends who are not on the street are dead, in jail, or annoying me. And I'm from Lynn, what can I say? People from Lynn act this way. Don't talk slick, that's what I said. They won't even let me into Marblehead. They're afraid I'll steal something that I have in the past and I might in the future. Don't be staring at me that way. I'm from Lynn, what can I say? There you go. All right. I can see you applauding. I can see your hands clapping. It's good. Good for me. All right. So I'm going to read a little something from my book. Brandon, will you put the cover of my book up on the screen here so people can see my new book? It's coming out. I'm supposed to pick them up on November 5th. We'll see. You know, everything is weird now these days. You know, paper shortage and all that. But the book's called The Hitchhiking Years and 4 Other Stories. Half the book is about me and Teresa. There she is right there. Hitchhiking for 3 years, and that's the back cover there. We went down to the Linway and stuck our thumbs out. I just have to tell you all now that we are not hitchhiking anywhere at this age. We want room service. We want a hotel with a nice bed. That's a joke right there. But the story is a love story here. Let me read this to you. If you want to know why we got hopelessly addicted to hitchhiking, even though we were often sleeping under bridges alongside humans of questionable character, sun-baked, rain-soaked, and a bit malnourished, ask yourself this question: could I put this book down, pack a bag, and go wherever I choose for as long as I want right now? And that's what the story is about. It's a love story, how we sort of learned how the road changed us and all of that. Then there's other stories in there about my dad, Larry White, who I talked about tonight, and about being an alarm guy. It's more interesting than it sounds. So I'm going to read a little something here from sort of the end of the book here. So we had hitchhiked for 3 years. We left Massachusetts. We were, just the last of the great partiers, right? I mean, I was 17 years old and going to keg parties and all that, and I only kind of knew the Lynn life, but when we, little by little, the road kind of changed us. It just taught us all kinds of things. So now we're back. It's been 3 years, and we're in Maine. She's pregnant, and and we're settling into a new life. So So I'm going to read just a little bit of this here. Teresa was sitting in an old rocking chair that someone's grandmother had given us. I was seated on a well-worn couch that entered our world under similar circumstances. We were drinking herbal tea. I was thinking that a cup of chamomile on a Friday night. Oh, so I really, really would like you all to unmute here so that if I say anything interesting, I can hear you. All right, so everybody unmute. There you go. Just participate in this with me. Teresa was sitting in an old rocking chair that someone's grandmother had given us. I was sitting in a well-worn couch that entered our world under similar circumstances. We were drinking herbal tea. I was thinking that a cup of chamomile on a Friday night presented a compelling argument to support the theory that those two party animals who left Lynn 5 years earlier were either gone or incognito. The sun had just gone down. The twilight warmed the room with a delicate amber hue. Teresa was looking out the window. There were wisps of steam rising from the cup in her hands. The soft, natural light on her face and the way it lit the room made her look like a master painter's portrait from the 1700s. I see this image in my mind today as if it is framed in a gallery. The portrait moved and broke the spell. Teresa turned to me and said, I believe that at this moment in time we are literally penniless. There's no bank account, no food stamps, no job, and not one single penny in this house. I asked, should we panic? And she said, I believe we should. I think it's what normal people would do in this situation. I said, right, normal people would be flipping out right now. I mean, we're living in a real house and we're going to have a real baby. Hell, someone might even give us a real television set. We're definitely on our way to becoming normal. So we should freak all the way out and not have any faith that things will work out or that the universe loves us, or any of that stuff that the normals think is hippie nonsense and a waste of time. She said, yep, we need to learn how to make the worst of every situation at the earliest point. She said, we need to learn how to make the worst of every situation at the earliest point so we can be freaking out every day like everybody else. It's going to take some practice. I said, okay, do you want me to start? How about you scream at me and tell me that I need to get up off my ass and go get a job? She said, that's a good one. And then you can storm out and go to the bar. You won't have any money, but when you tell the bartender what a shrew your wife is, he'll let you open a tab. I said, none of this sounds too hard. I don't think we're going to have any trouble learning to behave in a way that makes every situation 10 times worse than it really is. And since I am fully committed to becoming normal with you, my dear, I'm happy to practice these tiresome lines and unevolved behaviors. But first, let's try to disprove your penniless theory. I think there may be a coin or two hidden in this house somewhere. Teresa opened the living room closet and slid her hand into all the jacket pockets. There were no pennies. I pulled the cushions off the couch. I pushed my hand down in the sides where the coinage that slides out of trouser pockets hides. I locked eyes with Teresa. A smile came across my face. She returned my smile with a look of excitement. I said, I think this is it. I think we have avoided pennilessness, my darling. Then I slowly pulled my hand out and revealed to our eternal dismay that no, it was just a nickel-sized piece of hard candy.
Oh, God. Terrible.
We had just confirmed that at this moment in our long, extraordinarily atypical journey, we were indeed without one solitary cent. In addition, we were unemployed, lacking most skill sets that might alter that fact, expecting a baby, hauling water in buckets, and going out to a barn in sub-zero temperatures to pee. It was perfect. Maybe I should just drop it right there. Okay. Thank you for listening, everyone.
Hey, Don.
Yeah, that was great. Heaven on earth.
Hey,
Hey, John.
You know what it's
Good
called?
luck.
The hitchhiking years, and you can. I'm gonna hold pre-orders open probably till the 5th of November. Now that the delivery is delayed, so if you pre-order, you'll be helping me out because I don't have really any income until the books come in. So and I'll number them. And I have like a little stamp that looks like a window with some stuff on it. So I'm gonna stamp it and put a number in it, and I'll sign it. And that I am sure, and I guarantee you this, that in 20 years that'll increase the value 45 cents at least.
Job.
So, but the information to order the book is over there in the chat. I'm gonna end with this song here. That I end quite a lot with this, but I want to do it. I want to play this for Esther, who's hanging out here with us tonight, and I know that she works with people, who have challenges in this world, and it's for everybody. The song is called "That's What Makes You Beautiful," and it's a song about if you were raised in a situation where the people who raised you, for whatever reason, weren't able to show you the kind of kindness that you deserved, or generosity, or empathy, but somehow you acquired it on your own. I just feel like you deserve to know that somebody is aware of that I'm aware of that I'm aware of the miracle of it, that it's a significant accomplishment to be the opposite of how you were raised. It takes intestinal fortitude. It takes it's like a minor miracle, and I think it's underappreciated. And I just wanted to write this song for everybody who, no matter who you are, whatever you've overcome in this world, if you pushed it forward, this is for you. Called That's What Makes You Beautiful. We'll take just a short break after this, just enough for me to grab some water, and then we're going to have our after party with Chris Levancher. Pat Wichter is going to show up, and maybe we'll get Richard Cambridge to do another poem here. You were taught. Oh no, this way. You were taught by your world that empathy and kindness were the kind of things that made a person weak. They said push and grab and fight every minute of your life, and trample those between you and what you believe you need. But from the moment you were born, in your heart there was a song you could hear through all those years of fear and insecurity, singing cruelty is always weak, but love and empathy are strong enough to break the chains of selfishness and greed. Gentle is the strongest thing to be. You know it is not your fault that heroin and alcohol made them both too ill to give their children what they really need. But it sure would have been nice to be encouraged once or twice, to feel safe at night, or to have a life with just a little normalcy. From the moment you were born, in your heart there was a song you could hear through all those years of fear and insecurity. When you feel hatred in your heart, you just remember who you are, and that underneath the weight of hate, your heart cannot be free. Forgiving is the stronger thing to be. It's not the color of your eyes, not your hypnotizing smile. It's not any of the many things that everyone can see. It's the way you always knew what they told you wasn't true. It's how you made yourself the person that they taught you not to be. That's what makes you beautiful to me. young man's eyes see beauty in what is on the surface, not within. He will walk past what is beautiful to be near the thing that shines. But these old man's eyes see beauty in the story, in the journey. They have seen too much to be fooled by what attracts a young man's eyes. From the moment you were born, in your heart there was a song you could hear through all those years of fear and insecurity. There was nothing that this world could do to crush the love inside of you. Under neglect, abuse, and selfishness, you were caring, kind, and generous. It is the lonely road that brought you here. It's how all alone you persevered. It's the defiance and tenacity of your heart song of humanity. That's what makes you beautiful. That's what makes you beautiful. That's what makes you beautiful to me. Thanks for another good Thursday night, everybody.
Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful, Don, thank you.
Awesome, Don. Thanks so much.
Neil,
Thanks, Don.
good to hear you. So
Thank you, Don.
you're welcome, everybody. Thanks for supporting this and for being so kind to me and to all the artists that are, trying to stay alive during this. I'm gonna just go get a drink of water. Be 1 minute. I'll be back, and we'll have a really fun after party with some people who I really like a lot. Everybody that's involved in this. I'm just thrilled. So I'll be back in just a minute. Again, if you can throw a few bucks my way, I love you. If you don't have any money, do not feel any pressure. I love you. I love you, broke or rich. I love you no matter what situation you're in.
That's good, because I'm damn broke.
Still love you.
Hey everybody, welcome back. So now I'm off the hook now. I don't have to do no more singing and playing and telling stories. I get to hang out with my friends. So we've been doing the after party right from the beginning, and really it's just a way for me to share with you people who I like. I generally like their music, but almost always I like them and I want to be with them and hang out with them. So that's kind of where we're at here. So I'm going to start with Chris Levantia. This is somebody who has been with us. I think everybody here tonight has been with us before except Richard. And so he's just a naturally gifted songwriter. The songs that are so beautifully put together. He's got a new album. We'll talk about that later the next time, but this time maybe we'll just get him to sing a song. I think Esther's going to play with him, his lovely wife and a dear friend of mine as well. So let's everybody give him a nice round of applause for Chris Levantia.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, thanks everybody. So yeah, this is a song from this new album. We'll just jump right in on it. Take the train to the city in the morning. All the men in the suits are swarming. Busy little bees, busy little bees. I don't know, but I believe I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time. Living the dream, but it ain't mine. Go and fetch the stick, go and fetch the stick. Howling at the moon 'cause his collar don't fit. This job ain't me and I ain't my job. Every hour spent is an hour robbed. Well, I'm 50 years old, but when I grow up, I'll trade it all for love. Trade it all for love. I spend my days chasing after dollars, on the phone, racking up the hours, ticking of the clock, ticking of the clock. Time to buy or sell the stock. I'm just another cog in the corporate wheel, rooting around for another deal. Piggies at the trough, piggies at the trough. Grime and mud will never wash off. This job ain't me and I ain't my job. Every hour spent is an hour robbed. Well, I'm 50 years old, but when I grow up, trade it all for love. Trade it all for love. There's a secret song playing in my heart. It's a song of dreams. It's a song of art. Someday soon I will leave this place. Say goodbye to the man. Say goodbye, rat race. This job ain't me and I ain't my job. Every hour spent is an hour robbed. Well, I'm 50 years old, but when I grow up, I'll trade it all for love. Trade it all for love. Na 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 na. Trade it all for love. Love, love, love. Trade it all for love. La 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 love. Trade it all for love. Na 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 na. Trade it all for love.
Oh man, beautiful.
Oh, that was beautiful, you guys.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
I'm 50 years old, but when I grow up, come on. All right, so we'll chat a little bit next time through and talk about your new CD and all that. One more time for Chris Levantia and Esther.
Hey, Chris. Great.
All right.
Yeah.
You know, I have to. This has been said almost every week now that Zoom is a harmony killer. Like we have starved for harmony on Zoom now, but now that we have people singing with each other, it's like some part of my brain has been reactivated. Do you know? Like every week somebody comes up and sings with their husband or their wife or their friends or whatever, and I'm like, oh my God, I have missed this so much. like Zoom is like a harmony murderer, you know, right? Like what do they call it? You know, where you can't unless you're in the same place, you can't do it, you know. So, all right. So thanks for that. So now I'm really delighted to have a friend of mine here. He's coming to us from New York City. You know, a fantastic musician. Really a fantastic musician and songwriter, but a really great person, somebody who I really like to hang out with, and looking forward to, now that the world's opening up a little bit, to snagging lunch with him somewhere. I may just go to New York and just drag him out of his apartment and make him have lunch with me.
I'll meet you halfway, Don. So we can get together in Connecticut or something, you know.
You know what? I think I would do that, Pat. Honestly.
Yeah, me too. I'm dead serious.
I'm buying. All right. This is Pat Victor. Make him feel welcome, everybody, please.
Hey, Pat,
Thank you. Thank you very much. Great to be here. Thanks for having me, Don. It's great to see all of you.
You're welcome. So, Pat, normally in this first round, we just like get a tune, give people a taste of what you're doing, and then the next time through, you and I can chat a little bit about what's going on. How's that sound?
Sounds beautiful.
All right, man.
I'm going to do one that I haven't recorded yet, but I am taking steps to get it there. This is called The Devil You Know. The devil you know, he's a regular guy. Well, could he be the devil when he meets you on your level and he looks you straight in the eye? He says you got nothing to hide. The devil you know, he's a one-man show. Knows your every fear, says what you want to hear, that anger is a good that grows, gives you new friends and foes. With the devil's touch, the little changes start to show. Don't you ever notice that faint orange glow from the fires below, creeping in your soul? We're all going down to the crossroads. We're all going down to the crossroads. Don't you get burned, there's still time to turn from the devil you know. Devil you know, his fine print is the finest. Hold on to your wallet, 'cause the numbers are falling and it's all coming up a big minus, sneaking up behind us. The devil you know, the game that he's playing, he's a man of his word, long as you haven't heard most of what he's been saying. The predator always praying. Can't you feel the beads of sweat pouring off your brow? Like the tears of your better angels now, praying so hard for you to turn around. We're all going down to the crossroads, we surely are. We're all going down to the crossroads. Don't you get burned, there's still time to turn from the devil you know. devil you know tells a real good story about us and them, and remember when, all for the greater glory, all the points he's scoring. The devil you know wants to take up your time. Well, he ain't the first, the last, or the worst of the devils of his kind, so don't you pay him no mind. With the devil's touch, the little changes start to show. Don't you ever notice that faint orange glow from the fires below, creeping in your soul? We're all going down to the crossroads. We're all going down to the crossroads. Don't you get burned, there's still time to turn from the devil. Well, he feels like a friend, and that's why you bend towards the devil. Don't you get burned, there's still time to turn from the devil you know.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, Pat, sounded awesome as always.
Man, that was
That was
awesome.
great. That was
Thank
great.
you. Thanks so much.
That was great, Pat. So, just quickly, because we're going to talk about it later, Pat does a once a month Zoom show. Let's see, Victor Wednesdays, victorwednesdays.com. You can figure that out, but we'll talk about it in a little while. Pat, that was just absolutely fantastic. Great new tune. Everybody, one more time for Pat Victor, and we'll be back.
Hey, Pat. Awesome, my friend.
Thanks
See ya.
so much.
All right, so I think what I'm going to do, I've used this third spot here to see if Tim Mason wants to do a spoken word piece for us, and then next time through on the third spot we'll have Richard, and then if Alan stays around toward the end, Alan out in Kansas, if you got a short one, we'll do that. So we'll do two musicians and spoken word all the way through. That would make me really happy. So Tim Mason, how you doing, buddy? You feel like doing a little talking for us here?
Sure, I will do that.
All
Hey,
right.
Tim, thanks. Hey,
Thank
Tim.
you.
Good.
And
Hey,
it's great having Richard. Richard is hosting our monthly Poets Theater at our 8:30 club. So you might plug that a little bit more. Wonderful to see, Pat. I mean, you're knocking yourself out with all-star lineups week after week here.
It's just people I like, honestly. I just want the people I just want to hang with. I miss everybody.
I know, and it's great seeing Esther there too.
Yeah.
So anyway, I understand. Well, it's World Series time, and I think I tuned in late. I think you did some baseball commentary earlier. So I'm going to go on my baseball card poem. See, my nephew showed me his baseball card collection. Mythic sporting images were not perspiring in their plastic prophylactics. No card edge was bent or chipped. No gunpowder stains are showing. They're like bugs on pins or encased in amber, perfectly preserved and perfectly dead. As he proudly shows me the value of his latest page, my mind flashes back to the two battered shoe boxes now stashed in my closet, carrying the dust from many of my lives. My cards, once complete sets, 67 and 68, all tattered and scratched, taped, marked and pinned, charting the trades and transformations. Me and Danny, We played out a 187 game season with our teams. Keeping statistics, we took over my TV room, his den, masking tape bases, our trombone cases, making the walls of the house that Ruth built, the home of the Braves. With the button ball, we would slide the pitch, roll the dice, and wear out the knees in many pants slided our cards after them. Now, almost 5 decades later, I can still see the muscular arms of Aaron. Bat on shoulders, a regular for my guys, top right edge torn from bouncing off the walls, backside stats ward smooth for speed and swiftness, a sure threat to still a base with the right wrist action. My last card in 67 was Mantle. I had him mass doubles and triples by the score, cutting the rookie cards and taping them on to expand the roster. And then I got him. A headshot. Mickey Mantle. A face looking stupid. I had him before Danny did. Kept him for reputation, then dove into the treasure Danny's uncle bestowed. Gil Hodges. Ted Williams, Whitey Ford. I got the doubles. And going to beat that, I hit the library, tearing the pictures from the history books, wrapping my doubles with Ty Cobb, Stashel Page, Josh Gibson. We expanded to the minors, the Mud Hens and Bees, Pioneer League Specials, Boise, Spokane, the Negro Leagues, Kansas City Monarchs, Homestead Grays. We had a card for the commissioner, Ford Frick, and even umpires. And later, when we were older, cheerleaders taken from Playboy. If we were going to explore the off-field dimensions of the game, money was beside the point. It was a way of life that we were after. And when we saw our baseball cards, they were alive.
Yeah. Bravo.
Yeah.
That was
I love that, Tim. You know, if you're ever anybody, if you're ever in Kansas City, go to the Negro League Museum. It's unbelievable. I mean, I could have spent the whole weekend in that place. I went to the Folk Alliance there, but I spent the whole time at the Negro League Museum. I just kept scooting out. I'm like, you know, I can see these other people when they're playing in my neighborhood, but I can't go back to this museum here. It's wonderful.
It is exceptional.
Yeah, just remarkable. All right, thank you, Tim. So let's get back to Chris Levantia. Chris Levantia, my friend, let's talk about your new album. It's called After the Flood. So what's the deal? If people want it, can they get it now? That's the most important question.
Yeah, it's right now the only place you can get it is on my website, which is chrislevantiamusic.com.
It's in the chat.
But I guess it was put in the chat. But November 24th it will release, and it'll be on all the streamy things. So Spotify and Apple and all those places. So.
And are you doing Passim show then, the 24th?
Yeah, that very same night, I'll be doing a release show, sharing the night with the Lied Twos, who are Doug Kortler and Susan Levine, wonderful duo up here. And Doug actually produced the album, so he'll be playing on some tunes, and we'll both of us, or each of us, are going to have a full band. We're going to share the band and stuff. So it should be a great night.
What night of the week is that, the 24th?
That's a Wednesday night. It's the day before Thanksgiving, so you don't have to work the next day. You can stay out and have a good time.
All right, just before you do your tune-up, next tune, I got to ask you, like, when you were coming up, who did you think was a good songwriter? Like, when did you, like, go, oh, wait a minute, that was good?
Oh, wow. So you saying who? Like who?
Yeah, who lit the fire in you?
Wow. Well, probably, like the early on when I first was discovering this kind of music, I guess it would probably be like John Gorka, Cliff Eberhardt, those guys, they really kind of were the first to put the little spark in me when I was in Pittsburgh.
Right, two craftsmen right there, John's been with us several times here, but He hypnotizes me, that guy.
Me too. Me too.
Well, I'll drop him a note and tell him he was he was invoked here this evening. All right. All right. Why don't you give us a tune?
All right. So this is called Mercy on the Carolinas. The rain won't let up, the river's gonna rise. It won't be long before it spills its banks. The water's gonna come for us like a wave on Judgment Day. Pick us up and carry us away. The thunder rattles the windows and the lightning lights the way. The generator's giving up the ghost. The first floor's been emptied of anything of worth before the water comes and swallows up the earth. The old Tar River rises. To God I'm making compromises. Mercy on the Carolinas. Have mercy on us. It's gonna be a week at least before the river crests. The water's already at the door. They're telling us we ought to leave, ain't safe here anymore. But with faith and resolve we will endure. The old Tar River rises. To God I'm making compromises. Mercy on the Carolinas. Have mercy on us. Well, the water rose up faster than I ever thought it could. I took an axe and busted through the roof. Now we're waiting on this rooftop for a rescue from above. Waiting like Noah for his dove. The old Tar River rises. To God I'm making compromises. Mercy on the Carolinas. Have mercy on us. God have mercy on us.
Beautiful.
That was really beautiful. Really.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris, I'm a fan, man. Your songwriting, it speaks to me. It really does. It just has such a natural flow to it. I wish you the best with the new record. I recommend it to everybody. His other what's the name of the one that you made last year, or the year before?
Big Fat Love.
Big Fat Love. And that's a fantastic album too. They're both worth having. They really are. And so thanks. So you'll hang around. We'll go around one more time. Does that work for you guys?
That'd be
All
great.
right, one more time for Chris Levantia with Esther helping out there.
Hey, that's great, you guys. Awesome.
All right, Pat Wichter. Now, as I understand it, you are going to be inching out into the real world to be singing in rooms where other human beings will actually be breathing air. Is that true?
Yes, and they're all going to be rooms where people are wearing masks as they're breathing air. So
good.
That's one of my conditions. One of my conditions, at least for now, for doing some of these, is the audience has to be masked. And most of the venues who are offering me shows are already putting that into place. And most of them are requiring proof of vaccination. So really the combination, I'm willing to do it with the combination of those two things. So.
Well, it's not a joke for anybody, but it's really not for you. You were one of the first people I knew who got COVID, right? Like you got it at the very beginning, being in New York City, right?
I got it in March, March 2020.
And it was not like a casual COVID experience for you, was it? It was the real thing, right?
It was the real thing, and at the time, the thing everybody was worried about was pneumonia and going to the hospital. And basically, if you got pneumonia and you went to the hospital, your chances weren't very good. That was our understanding at the time. So I didn't get pneumonia, and I didn't go to the hospital. So I counted myself lucky, and at the time I thought I had a so-called mild case. Which was basically anybody who wasn't in the hospital.
But you didn't die, so it was mild.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't die, and I wasn't, on a ventilator, so I guess it was mild. But it really took me a full 9 months to recover completely from it. So.
And you have you have some of that lingering stuff too that people have, yeah.
Well, the fatigue, basically persisted for most of that 9 months. It was just very hard to get all my energy back. So around about December of 2020, I really started feeling my energy back to about what it was pre-pandemic. But I have this weird thing with my eyes that, my ophthalmologist said it. It's like he's seeing a lot of people with this redness. It's just like a persistent redness in the eyes, and it's redness and tearing and all this stuff. And so there are things you can do to do it, and to remedy it. And so I've been doing compresses and wipes and all this stuff. But basically, if the moment I stop, it comes back. So
weird, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's like.
Listen, I think the world of you. I really do. I'm glad. It really. It worried me that you were sick. Honestly, I mean, there was a lot of love for you in this world, and we're all concerned about you. So I'm glad that you're doing okay, and glad that you're going out there. And I think it's okay now. I'm gonna do some shows starting in December and January, and everybody is requiring. I told my agent. I go, hey, what do you think about this as a business plan? I'm flying to Michigan to do one show for 50 people and coming home. Is that good? Is that a good
thing? And David said,
well, Don, it wouldn't be what I would advise you, but it's a brave new world.
Just in response to what you're saying, Don, that there isn't a handbook for what this is. Like when we were all in lockdown, it was all pretty clear. Okay, we're not going to do shows, but we're in this moment now, which is much murkier. Which is, we can do shows under certain conditions. Maybe some conditions aren't really great for that. Maybe some conditions are better. Everybody's comfort zone with this is different, you know. So now we're in just this murky muddle where we're all making individual decisions, you know.
My audience is my age. They all have diabetes. They all, you know what I mean? I'm walking them into like a, you know, their final week alive, right? I don't know.
Well, this is this is the thing, you know. I didn't want to, I just didn't want to be doing in-person shows because I didn't want to be gathering people together under pandemic conditions.
But they're doing it anyway. Fenway Park had 38,000 people in it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like right now at Astro Stadium, like I don't know. You know, I don't know. I'm gonna do it. I'm like, I don't want to be paranoid and I don't want to be foolish. I'm trying to find the place in between the two of those.
I'm trying to find the medium too, you know. So I'll do the shows if people are masked and vaccinated, and you know, those two feel like reasonable expectations.
Right. When I come back, I have to be careful because my granddaughter is not vaccinated, so I might not get sick, but I might be carrying it. So I think when I come back, I'll mask up like I did a year ago and just, you know, be careful around her and all that. But I'm sick of living in this house now. I'm sick of talking to I love you, but I'm sick of talking to holograms on my computer screen. I need a hug. I need a hug.
Did you just say that, Don? My goodness gracious. Wow.
I did. All right, so I'm so glad that you're here. So let's talk about your Thursday thing. So your Wednesday thing. So you have a website dedicated to it. It's called Wictor Wednesday, WICTOR Wednesday.com, and people can come and like it's a strictly Zoom, right?
It's all only Zoom, no other platforms. It's basically donate what you want. So I do it through Eventbrite. You can just pay. You can pay 50 cents. You can pay more if you want, and then you get a Zoom link, and that gets you into it. The event that's up there right now is my last one. So give me a few days, and I'll update it for the next one, which is November 10th.
So November 10th,
it's just an easy way.
Yeah. So if people
it's just an easy way to to get onto this. So,
you know, I wish you the best with everything. I'm glad you're doing okay. Why don't you play us another tune, brother?
Great. Thank you so much.
Pat.
What if the truth is too bitter to take? If the story is all fake, but it makes me feel okay, does it matter anyway? What if a lie holds the sun up in my sky? I look myself right in the eye and say I'm doing fine, long as the world falls into line. What if the story I tell myself is all wrong? What if it's me and I can only sing one song? One song. What if I see only what causes me no shame, and the rest I hope will stay excluded from the frame? Can I bear to take some blame? What if the story I tell myself is all wrong? What if it's me and I can only sing one song? What if it's story I tell myself is all wrong? What if it's me and I can only sing one song? One song.
Beautiful. Wow.
Beautiful, Pat. Whoa, that's awesome.
Done.
Thanks so
Thank you.
much.
That was great, Pat. Just wonderful, man. Oh, thanks for the energy that you put into the world. You know, any chance on you being up here? Like, you know, I would wrap myself in bubble wrap and come to one of your concerts if you were close by.
I don't have any Massachusetts shows confirmed just yet. I'm strategizing who to approach. I've mostly been just kind of fielding calls, you know, and so it's been in my area like New Jersey and, you know, Philadelphia and all that. But I'm hoping to get something going in
Well, let me know.
Massachusetts. So
Let me know, and when you when you get something up this way, pop in. Do you know what I mean? Like even
Yes.
if it's filled up, you see. I mean, I'll just drag you in. You can do a tune and to let us know. And people are pretty good about supporting folks here. So let's hear it for Pat. You'll hang around. We'll go around one more time, Pat.
Yeah, Pat. Sounds awesome, my friend.
Okay, so now I want to get Richard Cambridge to do another piece for us. Richard, I want to talk just a little bit to you. We may run a little after 9:30 tonight, just so you know, so you can go put some coffee on, you
I'm
people.
fine.
All right. So I first met Richard and I think Esther and Tim Mason all at this place called Naked City, and Naked City, the original Naked City, is impossible to describe.
Absolutely.
It's impossible to describe. It was a building where there was an open mic, where the people who owned the building didn't know that we were having an open mic in it. There were no rules. There was a doorway that you opened up, a nondescript doorway in Alston. You walked straight up some stairs, and it opened up to a big rectangular hallway. It was open, and all around the hallway were doors. You opened the door, and it was like some weirdo painting paint in there. And some guy selling books that, you know, that nobody should ever read. And then, there was like little rental rooms, just rooms off of this big square, big rectangular room. And one of the guys, I guess it was Al, was it Egg Al, Richard? Is that?
Yeah.
He had a room up in there that he was renting. So they started playing music in the hallway after everybody left at 6 o'clock. And then by the time I got there was like 300 people in this thing. There was no rules, no nothing. You could just, and it was Cambridge, so you could just get up and like just say the F word for 10 minutes, and that was your piece, right? And everybody be like, that was beautiful. And there was poets and people with like whips and like every bizarre. One time I saw a woman juggle a guitar. She put the guitar on her chin and walked across the room with it like that. And it was an asylum run by the insane. I don't know how to explain it to you. I was glad to be alive to have witnessed it. Eventually, the way it demised, I believe this is true, is that they were dancing up there and they knocked a hole in the floor and it fell into somebody's office downstairs or something like that. And then they started getting citations. But that was after several years, or a couple of years anyway. So I first met Richard there and Tim Mason and I think Esther too, probably in that scene there. And it was quite a breeding ground for for artistic expression that was not being censored. It was, that was not there were no rules, and so so I have my roots in that now. So Richard, I think the world of you. I can, we should probably make the chance to go get lunch. I won't have to drive to Connecticut to find you. You're close by, right?
Yes, definitely.
All right. So why don't you read something for us, or do something for us?
Yeah, I want to say that was a magical space, Naked City. I wouldn't be here now if it wasn't for that space. And I think the fact that there were no rules and you could be welcome, everyone was welcome, and everyone was accepted. And that meant a lot to me. And I don't think I would have been here. It really did.
Like everyone was welcome, and the people that were welcome there, some percentage of them were not welcome anywhere else.
Exactly. They weren't. No, they were banned, actually. They were
Right,
banned.
for a pretty good reason.
For good reason. Well, Vance Gilbert, Dar Williams.
I met all those guys there.
Everyone went through that doorway through Naked City, or a lot of them did. There was actually, I wanted to say, there was actually a naked feature at Naked City.
Of course there was.
Honest.
Right. No rules, right? Like,
no rules. It was great. Yeah, you could smoke weed. I would bring my flask of
beer, smoking weed, like taking their clothes off, like anything. It doesn't matter, right? Just try not to fall down the stairs. All right, Richard, let's have it.
Okay, rather than something spooky, I decided I was going to read a poem by Edgar Allan Poe, but I wanted to riff off your hitchhiking book, because that was always deep part of my life when I was growing up as a teenager. It was the one thing I didn't need to rebel against, that my parents accepted as a mode of transport. I could say, okay, I'm hitchhiking to Kevin's house, and she would just say, okay, just be careful, don't get in any strange cars with strangers or something. But it was not, it was accepted. So in the 90s, when I was doing poetry, I had a gig in Asheville, North Carolina, and at the place called the Green Door. And my car had broken down a week before. I needed a new transmission. So I woke up, a day after with I thought was an epiphany. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll just go hitchhike to Asheville. It's 1,000 miles. This is the 90s, not the 70s. And I thought I'd be generous to give myself 2.5 days to make it there. Well, it was a nightmare. And I did make it an hour and a half before my feature. And Alan and Ginger Wolf happened to have a flask of Jack Daniels in their freezer, which I revived myself with, went on stage and, then collapsed afterwards. So I've been up for 3 days. But I wanted to write about hitchhiking. So these are my little meditation just about this whole thing from my generation. And I'm now at a gas station and no one's picking me up. I considered how the options of this ancient mode of travel, you could say archetypal mode of travel, had narrowed to practically nothing. First, the trooper trips me with the no hitchhiking law. Now truckers are forbidden to pick up hitchhikers under penalties of losing their livelihood. You'd think they'd enjoy the company to break the boredom. What else had I missed? The traveler, the wayfarer, and the pilgrim were layered deep into the strata of our unconscious with the admonition to help, befriend, assist on their way, give food and lodging to, and leave the corners of one's field ungleaned for. There were stories of parables like the Good Samaritan. It was an act of faith testing one's generosity. Thousands of years of road and travel worn deep into our collective memory, departure, the journey, and arrival had been radically altered, in fact, curtailed in the late 20th century United States of America. Why? My generation embraced this ancient mode of travel, made it a rule for the road rather than the exception. We made it an art form in the 60s, walking into the unknown with only the bones of a journey, knowing somehow it would be fleshed out and nourished along the way. It was the journey, not the destination, that mattered most, where experience was gained and gleaned, salting you with wisdom you needed for where you were heading and where ultimately you settled down and dwelled. What had happened in the years since I had last stuck out my thumb? Hitchhiking and its corollary, welcoming the stranger into your home, was one of the customs that bridged the generations that as youth we did not need to rebel against. I recalled the stories of my grandmother. Her house bordered the woods that ran along the Erie tracks between Allendale and Ramsey, New York. During the Great Depression, she kept a pot of soup on the stove for the hobos who jumped the trains and came knocking at her door, much to the dismay of my grandfather, inviting them in and setting them around her kitchen table. In fact, the house had become a regular stop. Word had reached that a kind heart and a welcoming meal was waiting for them. And another story from a preacher I knew who said his mother would not only invite the stranger in for a meal, but get out the best china and table linens and sit them down in the dining room, reserved only for those special holy and holiday feasts, and serve them as if they were honored guests, as if they were in fact angels. When did we change from a culture of sharing to a culture of fear? The Depression gone, the war won, the burgeoning relative affluence gave birth not to more generosity, but the reverse. The shut door, the lowered eye, the turned face, the closed, parsimonious fist.
Oh, thank you so much, Richard. Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I could spend hours talking about this. Right? Like we traveled, I think, somewhere like 60,000 miles probably on the kindness of strangers between 75 and 80. You know, and that has shaped my life more than anything. We just grew accustomed to the idea that some stranger would help us, and it always happened every single time. So I don't know what you do to get that experience now. Kids are doing it. I get emails now from kids. They hitchhike, you know, and they'll take a photo of the license plate and send it to the cloud so their mom won't worry. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. They use the technology.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And in Alaska, they do. In Hawaii, you know, it's out there. And Tim Mason's daughter was a freight train. You know, she's got stories of jumping freights and all that. But thanks for reading that, Richard. One more time for Richard Cambridge, everybody.
Hey, Richard, good to see you again.
Thank you.
All right, so now it's the what do you call it? The lightning round. So Chris Levantia. After the Flood is the name of the album. They can get it at your website, chrislevantia.com. Is that it?
Yeah, Chris Levantia Music.
ChrisLevantiamusic.com. I recommend it highly. You know, good songs on there, and a nice man. So on your mark, get set, play a song right now.
Well, first, let me just say thanks, Don. This has really been great. And what a treat to get to hear Pat and listen to Richard. I mean, it's just been a wonderful, wonderful night. So thank you so much. So this is called Jolene, and it's about the same Jolene that you all know from Dolly Parton. But this is from the male character perspective. Sorry, let's start that again. In the middle of an awkward silence, as I confessed all my hopes and my dreams, it was right then and there that I realized that you'd soon believe in me. Jolene, auburn hair and eyes of emerald green, you're the prettiest that I've ever seen. Jolene, Well, I've loved and I've lost and I've hurt someone. I've been talking out loud in my sleep. Well, I cried out your name in my lover's bed. I'm afflicted with you, Jolene. Jolene. Auburn hair and eyes of emerald green. You're the prettiest that I've ever seen. Jolene. Well, I gave it all up for you, Jolene. And I'd give twice as much if you'd stay. But I don't think I can live without you. It's a terrible game you play. Jolene. Auburn hair and eyes of emerald green. You're the prettiest that I've ever seen. Jolene, 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 Jolene.
Oh man, beautiful.
Oh. Wow, that was great, you guys. You knocked that one out of the park. Thank you.
You know, Pat Victor was playing dobro on that. I could hear it in my
I
mind.
I was playing along.
Oh, I wish we could have heard that.
A second and a half behind you.
That was wonderful.
You guys.
So good luck with your new CD, Esther. Nice to see you, Chris. And all the best. Good luck at passing. Everybody support Chris, and his music is just beautiful and wonderful, and he's putting good energy into the world. Got to support that stuff. And Chris,
Right, you guys.
All right, Pat Victor. Give me a report on how you do with your live shows. And I think when you get a couple behind you, you're gonna feel better. Dar Williams is touring. People are touring. There's no math to indicate that you can't do it. My dad was a gambler. He's like, what are the odds? So what are the odds, Don?
Right. Well, with vaccination, the probabilities are now much more favorable. So. I'm willing to take a shot at it.
I'm glad. The world needs your music and your energy. So
Thank you.
So drop me a note. Let me know how it went, and and then
I will. And I'll try to finagle something up in your direction, just primarily so that we can have lunch and hang.
Yeah,
So.
you know what? I'll get something in Connecticut. I'll drive. I can't. I've been getting 2 months to a gallon out of my car. So
it's true. In 2020, I put on 10 miles on my car in the whole year.
Right. I put on 10 miles and 20 pounds. All right. I think the world. I'm glad you're doing good, and so thank you for coming by. And anytime you have something, I'm not sure if I'm gonna do this. I'm probably gonna go to once a month now, once the book is out and everything. But you're always welcome to pop by just to say hi and let us know what you're doing. All right, buddy.
I appreciate it. I'll take you up on that. I'm gonna try and get a new record out sometime in the new year, early on. So
Awesome.
keep you
Awesome.
posted. So
All right, Pat. So
thanks so much, Don, and so great to hear you, Chris. So great to hear you, Richard and Tim. And this has just been a pleasure to be a part of all this, and of course, great as always to hear you too, Don. So.
thanks.
I'm going to waltz my
Yeah.
way out of here too, as well. Chris played a beautiful waltz, and I've got one here too. I used to live in Astoria, Queens, right near the Triborough Bridge, which has since been renamed the Robert F. Kennedy Bridge. But I don't know anybody who calls it that. It's still the Triborough to every New Yorker that I know. So this song is, by the way, underneath the bridge was a series of playgrounds, and like a lot of New York City playgrounds aren't just for kids, they're recreational spots that adults use as well for basketball and other things. And so this is my love letter to my neighborhood, my old neighborhood in New York. Triborough Bridge Playground C. Rattle and roar over our heads, girders grind rusty red, lights are on, it's a good place to be. Triborough Bridge, playground C. Triborough Bridge, playground C. Handball court, late at night. He brought the goods and she brought the light. Laughter ricochets up through smoke rings. Triborough Bridge, playground C. In the big loud city, in the neighborhood, a little bit of peace, sister and brotherhood. Volleyball game with a soccer ball. You can bend the rules, no referee to call. By the end, they're all just using their feet. Triborough Bridge, playground C. In the big loud city, in the neighborhood, a little bit of peace, sister and brotherhood. Whoop-de-whoop, holler and hoot, one-on-one, shooting rusty hoops. The winner beats his chest, the undisputed king of Triborough Bridge, playground C. a big loud city in the neighborhood. A little bit of peace, sister and brotherhood. Sister and brotherhood.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Wow. Pat, that was awesome.
That was great, Pat. Thanks so much. The best of luck to you. You know, best of everything to you, my friend. You know,
Appreciate it. And you too.
Count the days till we can get together, you and I. Let's hear it one more time for Pat Wick, for everybody.
Hey, Pat, that was awesome.
All right. Let me do a quick tune to say goodbye. Richard Cambridge, when is the next Poets Theater at the 8:30 Club?
Yeah, that's November 27th. We're featuring Sarah Oakte, who was the marine biologist for 12 years at the Nantucket station. And every week she would write an essay for the Nantucket Journal, which I love because she's a great writer, and it made you want to really get into whatever she was writing about. She's written over 800 essays in 16 years, and she's put them together in a 4-volume book. And she's going to be reading from her book, one of her essays, or a number of her essays, on the 27th. So I'm really excited about it because, you know, she to me is far more interesting than Thoreau. She puts a lot of pizzazz in her writing, and it really talks to you personally. I thought,
That's
wow,
a bold statement.
I didn't know.
Bold statement.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, you know, who knew what the mating habits of horseshoe crabs were? I mean, I didn't.
Not Thoreau, for sure.
For sure. Anyway, and yeah, so a shout out to Sarah and Len, her husband, who ran the poetry venue there on the island. So.
All right, so that information is in the chat. Poets Theater, 8:30 Club, doing great stuff over there. I haven't played this one since last year, but I was thinking about it today. This is just a quick one here for you. Christmas is coming. You know, one of the things that I learned from marrying somebody who grew up poor is that Christmas is really hard on poor people. Like, you know, like you don't realize it. You know, you know, she didn't get toys for Christmas. The little girl wonder how come Santa Claus doesn't love me. You know, what's up with that? You know, he's good to this other kid and that kid's bad all the time, like that. So when we had our own kids, we had no money. Like earlier in this thing, I showed you a picture of the two of us. At that point, I was making minimum wage. She was a waitress, and like we had this, like we were, you know, broke. But she would max out the credit card at Christmas time, and when I would complain about it, she would just freeze me in my tracks with her eyes, you know, and basically say, look you know, I'm getting what I didn't get when I was a kid. Now I'm going to get it through these kids. So just go earn some money. Like, well, you know, we'll deal with this later, you know, like, you know. And then when she would come, when the kids would come down at Christmas and there would be toys that she never had, like that experience. So I would look at her, and I've known her since she was 16 years old. I mean, you know, I know her as well as I know anybody. She looked like a little girl that Santa Claus loved. Do you know what I mean? Like, so this is called Christmas Memories, and I hope, you know, see you next week. I said, baby, are you crazy? I know it's Christmas, but we can't keep spending our money like this. She said, just sit a minute, I'll tell you something about my Christmas memories. She said, I'm not complaining, I'm just saying that we had no money and that Christmas was difficult on our family. And I remember the December, full of tension back then, and I am not going to feel that again. Good memories are what we need when we're old, to have and to hold when we feel alone. My gift forever to this family will be great Christmas memories. She said our children will never know what it's like to hear their parents fight about money at night, and by giving these children these great memories, they give great memories to me. And good memories are what we need when we're old, to have and to hold when we feel alone. My gift forever to this family will be great Christmas memories. So quit whining, quit crying, quit running your mouth about credit cards, landlords, and low bank accounts. 'Cause nothing that you can say will ever keep me from making great Christmas memories. Memories are what we need when we're old, to have and to hold when we feel alone. My gift forever to this family will be great Christmas memories. Great Christmas memories. Thanks, everybody.
That song, Don. Always
Beautiful, Don. It's beautiful.
great song, Don. Love it.
Thanks, everybody.
Sarah, good to hear your voice, honey. We'll see you next week, everybody. Thank you to everyone, Pat and Tim and
Bye,
Richard,
Pat.
Chris Levancha, Esther Friedman. Much love.
Richard, good to see you again.
Let's
same
thank
here, Neil.
Brandon for being magical behind the scenes, everybody.
Brandon.
Love you, Brandon.
Great to have you in the house, Brandon, as always.
Good to see you, Neil.
Thank you, my friend. I love you.
All right. Thanks, Kentucky.
Right.
Thanks, Nebraska. Thanks, Upper Peninsula.
Thanks, Massachusetts.
There's the UP. That's right there.
Hey.
New Mexico.
Whoa.
Ohio.
Ohio. Where's Ohio? There you are, right there. And
Fantastic.
Michigan and California. All right. So this is a group of people that I could never assemble at one concert.
There you go.
True.
The airfare would be make it impossible.
Hey.
Love
All
you
right.
guys. Bye.
All right. See you later.
Good night. Good night, everybody.